cool. So top down structure on that, I'll just put it down and then we can go over it. So higher time frame, we're bearish. Intraday, we are bearish. And then lower time frame, we are bullish. So as I said, I've just put it down here and I'm going to talk about how I've come to that conclusion. Cool. So this is what we're saying, and then so let's start off with higher time frame. Okay, so higher time frame, right? So originally what we had was we've obviously had this high here after making this, right? So and then what happened was, so this is what was holding higher time frame, then this obviously broke here, right? So this is what's holding higher time frame, so we'll put that down. Structure, so this is what's holding higher time frame. Okay, and I guess what we could also do is we could just look at our point of interest inside the higher time frame. This is purely to obviously refine the market further and also know our point of interest is bearish break of structure, higher time frame. Okay, now within this higher time frame leg, we obviously know our market cycle, this being the distro, this obviously being that redistro, and then obviously here we've got that accumulation coming up, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So this being our extreme of the leg, whatever is not mitigated here, bearish extreme, higher time frame, and then here is our slingshot, bearish slingshot, higher time frame. Okay, now with this, I know once we go inside it, it will look like market cycles within itself, but for me that's just a bunch of redistros within this, well actually within this leg. So I see this as one whole leg and then this another. Okay, and then obviously this just that whole leg. So this is just that redistros inside. This is where obviously the lower time frame would be sitting. Okay, so now we've got our high time frame leg, we've got our high time frame point of interest. Let's move down now. So let's look at our intraday. So our intraday, for me, it would be sitting at this area here, because this is what's not, oops. This is what's, so this was that last push up, came down, made a new low. This was that last push down to come down lower. Okay, so this is that redistro in here that caused that's holding that intraday leg, sorry. So holding intraday. Okay, and then now again, same thing. So let's look at our, so inside all of this, I'm not gonna put it, but I'm just gonna label that. So this is bearish high time frame slingshot plus intraday extreme. What's happening with my spelling today? Extreme. Okay, so this is obviously what we call confluence, because within this area here, we know there's a lot of supply, in this case, sitting here. Cool. Now inside that, if we're looking at our slingshot, obviously we know, I want to say somewhere this is that redistribution that went ahead and that caused that break. So within this is our slingshot. Now, because obviously we'll be looking at current price action, I'm not going to make a mess of the chart, because simply the price action has already been traded through, right? So there's no point to look at it, because demand has taken supply here. Okay, so we've got our intraday structure, we've got our intraday leg, we've got our intraday point of interest. So now let's move down to our lower time frame. Okay, so as I said, looking at lower time frame, we had this was the low, this was a new low. So this is what was originally holding that lower time frame leg until we went ahead and we made a new high. So now this is that leg to that, and then when we made this high, this is what was holding it. Then again, same thing here. We went ahead, we made a new high. So this is our lower time frame leg, and then we'll bring that up to here. Okay, so let me just do highlight. So this to that, to this, to that, to this, to that. Cool. And then structure. Cool. So this is how we came to the conclusion that we are bearish times 2 and we're bullish times 1. So bullish break of structure there. This is new lower time frame. Okay, cool. Now that we've got our lower time frame leg, let's also look at our market cycles, and that's going to help us find our point of interest. Okay, so starting off with the leg, we have got our accumulation here. We then got a long drawn out reaccumulation, the whole thing, but we can just focus on this. This is our reaccumulation. Okay, now following our market cycle, we know somewhere in here after making that new high, we will be getting some sort of distribution. Okay, distribution, we can either do a couple of things, which I will draw it out here. We can go into a redistribution, which will help us come into our extreme, and then we can accumulate. This is the most desired price action that we can ask for, simply because then you will be able to get in from the structure, and then you'll be able to obviously catch more pips because there's more real estate, for example. Or what we could get into is we could not get the redistro. We could simply distribution comes into the slingshot, which is that reaccumulation here, and then accumulate, and then make a high, and then that whole thing just turns into a reaccumulation. Okay, so it will be a continuation rather than a break of the slingshot. Man. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, saying that I'm gonna start cleaning, and yeah, so enjoy the call, and
No
I'm
worries.
off.
No worries, man. I'll take screenshots of it and I'll drop it. So just watch that, because I know EG is your pair. So
Yeah,
oh,
or if you will drop the recording, I can.
okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Man, no worries.
Enjoy,
Catch you in a
guys.
bit, bro.
See you.
Yeah, so that distro, go into that slingshot here, then accumulate and then make a new high, then the whole thing becomes a continuation reaccumulation. So that's the essentially, this is our option 1. Oops. Or this is our option 2. Green. So you can go to accumulation or accumulation here. Okay, let me take a screenshot. Don't need that just yet. Okay, cool. Everyone happy with that? Let me know. So this is looks good. Okay, cool. So this is the bullish lower time frame slingshot, and then this is the extreme. Now, cool. So a couple of things straight away. The only one thing that I don't like about this is the fact that we will be counter trending. Okay, because obviously we are bearish times 2, but we're bullish times 1. Now, having said that, there is enough real estate even from the slingshot to come into the into this structure. It's about 600 pips from extreme to come to intraday structure is already about 700 pips. So there is, even if you were to get into what's it called, a reduced risk and just make your way up here, and even as a hedge, right, this will be a good opportunity for you to enter as a hedge, because if you get into a buy here and then you try to enter with a distribution, and then that distribution turns into a reaccumulation and then makes its way up to the structure, then you're in from this buy here. So that's how I would have seen it. So when I was when did I start looking at EURGBP? Yeah, so 11th of July, which we'll look at it, I guess, somewhere. Oh, that's June. Come back. So 11th of July, I started looking at it. That's just look for an accumulation. So we'll look at that. So yeah, when I was looking at this when I started looking at this, that was my thinking process. Okay. It was a structured trade. Yes, it would have been counter trend, but I had enough real estate for me to justify the R&R basically. Okay. Now, so a couple of things that we can just put that there. Okay, a couple of things that we can look at already. So two things. The number one thing is pay attention to the market cycle over here and just watch how it repeats itself. So we got we know obviously that's a distro going into a reaccumulation, so we'll just put a reaccumulation there. Okay, and then we know that's a distro. Okay, and then what we've got here, we've got a redistribution here. Redistro, and then that redistro aids us into that demand zone that causes us to have a accumulation come in again, and then what do we have? Oops, yeah, comes in again and we make a new high. From that new high, we've got an accumulation, we've got a reaccumulation, and then from there we've got a distribution. Okay, and then distribution, so this is our slingshot. Distribution helps brings price down to our demand zone where we can accumulate again, and then you basically the same thing that has happened here, we're looking for that to repeat itself, and then that's how we pretty much just going to ride the wave up into our next hedge point or our sell point. Boom. Okay. So now a couple of things we can already look at. So the second thing is, okay, we're gonna need to wait for an accumulation in here, right? But the one thing that we can already do is we can set a limit here. So now we need to look at inside here, inside this price action, and look at what's been mitigated and what's not been mitigated. So let's drop back down to like a 1 hour, right? So just for aid purposes, so yellow is obviously Asian, that lighter green is what's it called? It's London. Then this is New York, Asia, London, New York, and then I've got that overlap as well. And I've only got this for my backtesting session, for my backtesting template. I don't have London. I've only got Asia and New York for my actual trading one. Okay, cool. So we got 1, 2, 3 candles here. Let's look at the 3. Okay, so the 3 hours is something. Let's try with the 2 hour. Come back down. No. 6. So it seems to have 21. Okay, I like that one. 21, 22, 23. Yeah, definitely that 123, man. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify obviously our 50s and 80s. No. Somewhere in there. So this is our 50% 1 to minute. This is our 80%. Okay, so we've got our full volume candle. Now the other thing I like to do is I like to come here and then identify. So this is 8 o'clock. So this is that New York. I'm sorry. This is like London Open. London Open price. And then obviously I'm gonna try go in there and then look for like any imbalance, which I think even from the 1 hour we can see that already. There. Okay, so on that 15-minute. Now there is some sort of accumulation in here. Can you guys see it? So we've got 1, 2, 3. Then there's that 4th drive here. Okay, so we've got inside that spring, we've got accumulation. I'm sorry, we've got imbalance, which lines up with that 80%. Why do I that? Okay, so let's go for this imbalance. And then we've also got imbalance inside that 50 as well. Imbalance, okay. Now, I just want to see if that spring here lines up with about 50%. Oh, very, very close. 1.4. I'm trying to get 16, 12, 13, 18, 19. Around at 21. We're losing it now. Okay, so let's go back to 11, 12, 13. Okay, so let's look at that 20. 20 is a bit far off. Right, I'm gonna go with that 21. That seemed to have a bigger size with it. Okay, so that's 50, 50%, 21 minute micro spring. Okay, because inside there we've got that accumulation, right? Cool. Now let's look at where price came back to. Okay, so we're now trading in between this range here and this range. So if price comes makes a lower low, okay, then obviously we look at where it has traded into. But if price from here goes up and make a new high, then obviously this will be our order flow leg. So then we know obviously here is unmitigated. So then we're good to go ahead and pretty much set a limit. Okay, so price did come lower, but then at the same time we went higher. Okay, it came lower, didn't quite come into our 50%, no, our 80%. So we're good, right? We've got reasons for price to come back there. And then now obviously we now need to wait for that bigger break. So let's just speed that up. Good to run. Okay, no worries, bro. Catch you in a bit, man. Cool. All right, so there's the break that we need. So now so now we know obviously this is our whole leg from here to here. So we can go ahead and split our risk. So the way that I'm going to do it is this is extreme. So I'm going to risk 0.50 in total, but I'm going to do 0.10 to see if the accumulation comes above our extreme. Then I'm going to have 0.15 here, right? And then after that, I'm going to have 0. Or I could do 0.15, and then I could put this as 0.25. Okay, so that and that is 0.25, and then this is 0.25. Yep. Cool. So now my 0.25, I'm gonna have to split that into two because I'm going to go ahead with the 50. Let's put it here, and then stop loss right there, and then I'm going to go with the 80, which is here. Okay, and we're obviously looking for a new high. Right, so something like that. Okay, right, so here we're going to go ahead with, let's just say we've got 100. We're going to go with 0.125, and then same thing here, 100, 0.125. Right. Okay, so that's that limit set. Now the other thing that we're going to need to focus on, watching for an accumulation here, and then however this distro works, we could also look for a hedging position here. Reason being is because we know supply is sitting here by as shown as this distro, and then when price comes back down here, we know obviously there will be some unmitigated, right? And the only reason we can do that is just pretty much just to protect us, simply because this can then turn into a redistro and then come down lower, where we could either accumulate or accumulate and then redistro itself and then goes down lower, which means then we'll be in from that sell. Okay, because remember, we are bearish times 2 as well. So we've got more plus side on supply than demand. So that's the plan of attack. 1, 2, 3 is what we'll be looking for. Okay, so let's just see what happens. I'm not looking to do anything here. I'm not looking to catch the distro here. I would rather wait for when we do turn around, and then ideally get in from a buy here, then look for a hedge here. Get in from a buy here, get in from a sell here, to then just pretty much either hedge, either that can come down here, go up, or that can come down here and break this, which I'll be in from that sell basically. Cool. So let's see how that works. Cool. So distros, I said, helping price come into our slingshot. We're now going to look for an accumulation. This is 16th of June. 16th of June is when? So pretty much a month ago. Where is 16th of June is a Thursday. Okay, so this would have been a good day to look for that. Okay, so we can see something is being built, right? And we can see that this obviously is coming is New York price action. So I'm going to be watching this as our price range, and then we'll be looking if we do get maybe one like spring, and then that break of order flow for us to get into a buy from here. Okay, if it's not like that clean, then I'm not really looking to do anything with it. And having said that, this is obviously still was maintaining that this is the whole real distro that we're looking. Cool. So let's see what price does next. Bear in mind we're outside of our trading window now, so this is like 10 o'clock, so this is change over time. Would have to look at what next morning does. Now next morning, if we can get, so we start Asia, if we get Asia to do that, and then we get that Frankfurt open or that London open, they'll give us that sweep. That'll be something really nice. So there's Asia. And we've got a little sweep from London, but not enough to give us like that fourth drive. Okay, so now we're pretty much outside of that. Now what I'll be looking for is I'll be looking for this to get taken up, and then maybe when price comes back down, we can look for an accumulation to then take it up higher. Okay, so delete that, that here, that here. Okay, we'll wait for an accumulation to come after we make a move, after we take out this high here. So let's wait for that. None so yet. Not yet. Okay, there we go. So we made a new high here. So this is pretty much what's holding that order flow. I guess we could just look for something like that. And then inside here, we could be looking for an accumulation to obviously take it up. And then we can have a hedging opportunity here. Okay. Right, cool, let's look. So price come back into that 50%, and we're trading in between that. Okay, so we've got a little something here. All right. Got a so climax, secondary test in phase B, because that gives us our spring. Now essentially I just want that break. Could have had it from here, but this is for me that whole leg. Get that. Okay, so now we've got that break, and essentially same thing. So we're looking for that. Maybe we can have a little something in here, something like that, and then obviously take that up to here. If we do go and make a new high, then I'll obviously be closing this. And I think it looks like we do. Yep, there you go. So we punched in, we made a new high. So delete that. Now I guess, so what we'll be looking for is, as I said, we'll be looking for a distro in here. Okay, and then this is what's holding our order flow. So we can come back and then look for a accumulation in here. Okay. This will obviously be the continuation of the continuation, but the moment we go ahead and we make a new high, then this becomes my MC, and then whichever is the reaccumulation that causes the high, could be this will be my SC, and then cycle, rinse and repeat. Okay, so let's look at this. So we have got okay, so price came in. Yeah, pretty much nothing here. And then at the same time, we went ahead and we broke order flow. Okay, so let's look at this. We've tapped into distro. We've pretty much distributed here, I want to say. Yeah, look, we did. There's that distro there. So I mean, this was a what? This was a Wednesday. This was the Thursday. So for me, I would have needed this to break, which we do here. So I guess this would be where the actual trading happens. So how I would look at this is obviously this is that distro, this is that redistro. At the same time, this is the slingshot that caused the break. This is what's holding the order flow leg. And we can clearly see that the accumulation going into distribution that caused the break. And then now we're coming back to see if we can actually get into something. So for me, I'm gonna look at this area here. That's just very much like a supply zone. Okay. No limit, nothing, just watching it at the moment. And let's see what we do. Yeah. Okay, so at the same time, this is also outside of the trading session. This is at 1 o'clock now, so pretty much nothing. And then you'll see that slingshot now is gone. We're now coming up into the extreme. Oh, we'll traded right through the extreme, and now we're coming up into this area here. So I guess this is why order flow can be a bitch. Okay, because we went ahead, we made a high, then we came, we made a low, then we went ahead and we made a new high, right? So let's see what it does here. Giving us a little something. So first, so this is a Friday. London gone into New York. Let's see what she does. Then some sort of maybe type 5 head and shoulder distribution here. Nothing that I would be chasing really. Speed it up. Nothing that I'll be chasing. No. So here, no, I do like this because this is turning into a distro now. So can we all see the 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, and then there's that 4th drive. We made a booth. We've got that distro in here. We've got that redistro in here. That attempt to accumulate, and then boom, the break of ice. But also we punched in a new low. So this will be my slingshot. This will be my MC. And then if you can get into a sell here, because now I want to also say that this distro with the attempt to accumulate here that failed to make a new high is going to be a redistro, and then maybe that can help us bring price to our extreme. So if we can get into some sort of a sell, that would be a good hedge to protect ourselves. So be looking for an attempt of like sign of weakness or any like, you know, distro. I don't think it's given us that any. There's Asian. no sweep, nothing, no clear price action. Okay, anyways, so it seems like the slingshot did not hold. Well, not yet. Okay, so the slingshot definitely did not hold. So no point of looking for any buys in that area, but the whole thing turned into a redistro. Okay, so the hedge, that was the hedge here. Redistro. Unfortunately, we didn't get into that hedge, but I mean, if anyone did catch that type 5, they'll be sitting with like, 200 pips whilst price coming into our point of interest here. Okay, so that's that. Let me do that. Okay, so slingshot did not work. Now we're coming into our extreme. So let's see. So we're coming up into, this is Thursday. This is the 7th of July, Thursday, London and New York. So nothing much there. Okay, so I like how we are compressing inside our demand zone here. Right, we're clearly going to build something, building liquidity here. We've got, Asian liquidity that was swept here. So now it's either going to be this, which obviously I like that to be around the 50 or the 80, where obviously our buy limit would activate. Then it would activate with 0.25%. And then when we make that new high and then we come back, I'll be looking for another 0.15, for example, okay, to go up. Now, if price accumulates and does that but never taps my 50, then I'll come into with 0.10, 0.10. Okay, yeah. Still building something. So I want to move this accumulation in here. Okay, so we have got our seller's climax. With my bunch of secondary tests, transaction here. Then, so price made a new low. So this could, at this point, could have very well been our spring, right? But we failed to make a new high. So obviously we need that break. And then boom, so we got that. So again, that can then be secondary test. Okay, and then this is obviously our spring, but we don't know that for sure yet. So now at this point, we're tapped in from here. So this is tapped in. And then this is also tapped in. Okay, so this is what? This is 13. So this is Wednesday. Okay, this is Wednesday. Let me just put it there. Wednesday, London session activated. Right, so delete that now. Okay, now cool. So for us to actually confirm that like, you know, I want to say higher time frame, but not higher time frame, but like more like an intraday schematic, we obviously need this to break here. Okay, for us to say this is the spring and then this is the STP. Now, having said that, there is a micro accumulation in here. So if even if we do go and make a new high and then any sort of pullback and we can get into an accumulation to then make that, I don't necessarily need to wait for this. Okay, at the same time, I'm also going to be on reduced risk. So the moment that we make this high, I can go reduce risk and break even. Okay, so I'll talk about the trade management in a second, but that's the plan of next plan of attack. Sorry. Okay, so wait for this alert to go off, and then that's it. So I think when I was looking at this EURGBP, yeah, so bullish both when we went ahead and we made this high here, got the fourth drive. Okay, got the fourth drive here, and then bullish booth. That's when we got this. Just like that. Okay, there you go. So boom, took that. So now gonna go and reduce risk, and break even. So reduce risk, let me just do that. Reduce risk on 50%, break even on 80%. Okay. Right. Now when we make a new high, so when we do this to that, to this, to that, I'm gonna pay risk. Essentially when we make this new high here, take partials. So I guess like that. And then I can go to re-entry with 0.15% plus reduce risk, which is 0.25%. Okay. All right, cool. So now I want to look inside here to see if we can find an entry. Okay, so we can either accumulate here, or come deeper into the extreme of the order flow leg and then accumulate here. Let's see. Now again, this is also Wednesday, so I don't mind price just, you know, lingering around doing that, or even better yet, you know, make a new high and then come back down, because then that would confirm that spring as well. And then we come back for Thursday. Okay. So let's see. Come back down to 1 minute. So over here, I don't really have anything except from maybe this, whatever this reaccumulation is, that went ahead and caused this. But we haven't really quite come lower. Let's now, I want to see if we can find maybe like the candle over here. I don't think we've even traded about 50% of it. On the back, okay. I don't think we've even let me do, yep, there you go, much better. Okay, no, and then we've obviously kicked into New York as well. So there's 50%, there's the 80%, which I would be pretty much wait for. I don't think I'm gonna try to catch that. I think that's a bit of a riskier opportunity simply because we can just simply come back here and then go up. You know, this is what's holding it, not this. Okay, cool, let's see then. Oh, and then we made that, whatever that is. Okay. Alright, so anyways, at this point, that's what that was. So we went ahead and we paid risk. So what was this? Risk paid. So we paid ourselves $250 because this is what we risked on. Okay. And then now we're gonna obviously take partials. Okay, and then simply we're just getting a bunch of, we can see that reaccumulation, and then once we break that high, that's when we're obviously gonna be trying to catch this entry. So let's just simply wait for that high. So we've also kicked into what's it called, Thursday as well. If we do somehow get like this sweep and then we can accumulate inside this New York price action, that's something that we can get into to go and make a new high for sure. But I mean, because we've got no risk on at this point, right? We're break even here. We've paid our risk, so we're up $250. We've got nothing to lose. Right, so let's see. Nope, so no London sweep, nothing. And then there you go. Okay, so we took partials. Partial taken. This is going to be another 0. So it's going to be 25%. So we're currently sitting at there. So this one is 934.58 times 0.25. 50% order. We took 23364. Then the 80% order. By the way, this is also sitting at, oh sorry, this tripping. Hold on, let me do that. Yeah, there you go. Do that. Sorry, so this is 50% is at 321. 22 times 0.25. So we've got 80 bucks. $80.30, and then this is at 2.5, 2.5 RR. This at 7.1. Okay, so we can delete that. Now, so this becomes our STB, and this becomes our spring here. Cool. So now obviously we're gonna now be looking for that test, well test here to go up. Okay, and this is our obviously sign of strength. Cool. So we're gonna be looking for this to come down to go up. Make like a test. Okay, so first thing we're gonna be looking at is obviously this reaccumulation here. So this is our SC, and then I think whatever is not mitigated here as our MC to go up. Okay, we can even set a limit because we're back to bullish order flow. So let's just wait for that. So price coming into our slingshot now. Okay, so I'm pretty much just gonna do that to that. Okay, so I like how we've got Asia. Just gonna do London sweep, and then we can see if we can get into something from there. Ah, there it is, London, didn't sweep it. Where the new high? New York. No, okay, and this is where we are now. Okay, so that's a bit frustrating. I mean, did come into the slingshot of it, just didn't give us quite nice of an accumulation. But you know, nonetheless, if we do get, because right now obviously this is just continuation. Once we do get a pullback, this would be a nice nice entry to get into. Okay, and then where's obviously that sitting at? This just pretty much a 3-2-1, and then this is a 10-1 here. Okay, so price sitting at 3-2-1, 80% order, 10-1 Okay. Now for the interesting stuff. Backtest. Total trades was 2, total risk 0.25%, total RNR 13 to 2, total profit, what are we saying now? 469.62 plus 133.2.52. 1804. Okay, so now time in trade. 2 days, 10 hours. Time for setup. So we broke here and we came back here, 28 days. So I want to put 29 days, confirmation present. Lower time frame. Let me see. So the session with MT1, London. Let's see. Session was London. Risk to reward was the 10 to 1, so that was worth it. And then there was IPA. Was accumulate. So that was SC. And that's it. Cool. And there we have it. So that was the 10 to 1 of the week. Obviously from the 80%. And there is much cleaner. Okay. But yeah. Okay, cool. So awesome. I'm not going to be here for too long, just about an hour going into this back test. But yeah, I mean, definitely a good one. Everything was there. Yeah, just gotta keep finding those, I guess. But yeah,